I wish I had that, because it's so lonely at the top, and it's so lonely when you're high achiever and it's so hard for you to admit that you need help. And just having someone to talk to that has been there and walk the walk, not just talk the talk, is a big difference.
Ilana Golan, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. How are you?
Thank you. It's amazing to be here. I've been watching your shows every time and I just love it. So
that warms my heart. Thank you very, very much. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here as a guest, an entrepreneur at heart, an entrepreneur with ventures, with an acquired venture behind you already, but with a lot of different, really interesting transitions, and along your career. And I'm particularly excited to talk about your journey, the insights you've gained from these, twists and turns, the ups and downs, leading up to Golan Ventures and CareerLeap, which obviously is probably one of the most important conversations to be held in the midst of a pandemic. So Ilana, take it away. Who are you, and how do you even get started into this world?
So engineer, tech, I've been in tech for a while and kind of moved up the chain from big companies like Intel to smaller companies and startups, product sales, kind of moved up the chain all the way to vice president.
All across the board.
All across the board, leap to entrepreneurship. With some ups and downs. Eventually, my company was acquired. I moved to the venture side, and now I'm a public speaker and Forbes contributor, and decided to just take all this knowledge and help others do the same, because I realized that leaping in career is something that I somehow know how to do, and I want to help others. So
I love it. You ended up getting to the realization that you really love helping people understand what they can do and deal with that difficult moment. I have to say that many entrepreneurs that I know, most entrepreneurs that I know that are tech executives, they've had businesses before, they don't turn to helping others as a full-time job. So what really motivated you to go and decide, now I'm going to spend most of my time helping other people realize what they need to do?
It's an amazing question. And I honestly contemplated with this for a long time. Like, it's something I wanted to do, and I was somewhat scared to do it. It was like I used to be kind of this businesswoman, and I'm gonna be like a coach, or I wasn't even sure I like coaching. And I don't even see myself as a coach. I see myself more as a growth strategist. So I wasn't really sure if this is the right thing, but I found myself just helping a lot of people on the phone. And honestly, you can't help a person to leap in their career over coffee. Like, it just doesn't work. First of all, you can't scale. And B, it's not a one-time thing. Like, it's a journey, and you have to be there with them on the journey. And I was looking for a good way to do that. And eventually I just found, that I love doing this. Like, I love see people transform. I love see people change. And I wish I had that, because it's so lonely at the top, and it's so lonely when you're high achiever and it's so hard for you to admit that you need help. And just having someone to talk to that has been there and walk the walk, not just talk the talk, is a big difference.
Walk me through that relationship, that conversation that I might have with you as I need to make that leap. Now, and before that, dumb it down for me a little bit. What does it mean for a person to want to make that leap? Does it mean that they are looking for a different job, they're not fulfilled, they think they can get hired to where they are today? What does that entail?
Yeah, basically bingo. Like, it's everything you said, right? I mean, it's usually the high achievers, right? It's the people who are looking forward and saying, you know what, there must be more to life than what this is. And I could be doing more, and I want to leave more of a legacy, and I want to make more of an impact, and I want to do something that matters. And, I'm probably at the, last kind of quarter of my career, and I need to make it count. And
at least 2-3 quarters, Ilana, at least 2-3 quarters.
So I want to make it count. And, and I remember it for myself because I used to wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, it can't be that this is it. Like, it can't be. I'm overachiever and yes, I'm doing amazing things, but what's next? Like, what's the next big thing? And,
So what I'm hearing from you is something that I'm starting to pick up from all the different episodes, and that is some of that innate curiosity and passion that is burning inside you, and you're saying, yes, I'm doing all these things, I'm vice president of this, and I'm executive of this, and I founded this company, but you're looking to really understand, how do I make that tangible impact on somebody and know that impact. So my question then, Ilana, is what is that impact? So what is the impact of helping people make that leap in their careers? How does that even translate to tangible impact?
Right. So, I mean, first of all, just seeing someone that they're basically almost turned off when you meet them initially, they're unfulfilled, they're unmotivated. They honestly take it usually home. They're not as happy as of a person. They don't exercise as much or not as healthy as they want to be. Like, everything is kind of like a downhill spiral. And I was in that downhill spiral, right? So
you were.
I feel it. Yeah. Oh,
why were you in the downward spiral? Story time.
Oh my God. So I mean, in a quick, few seconds. So
we have time, Ilana. We have hours.
I know, you're like counting. So I wanted to leave so I was already vice president. I started the US technical operation of an Israeli startup here. It grew to 15 million, like it was an amazing success. And then I wanted kind of that, what's next, right? So I wanted to leap to entrepreneurship. Somebody I knew from the Technion wanted to do this together, build it kind of in the off hours. Raise money, $800,000. And right when I basically did a big party for my previous job to tell them about the startup, the same day he kicked me out. So he took the money, kicked me out of the business. And at some point, it's within seconds or a day, I was left with nothing, like no job, no salary, no startup, no investment. And I felt like the earth just like fell from under me, right? So it's that point, it's like, sorry for the language, the holy shit moment, right? It's like how you wake up
Literally.
And like, what do you do? Like, what do I do? Do I look for a job? Do I look for a co-founder? Do I start a business? Like, what do you do? And you don't have to have these big moments to really feel like, oh my God, like I need more than this. And I've had those small moments in my life as well. Like as an engineer, you're many times stuck as a technical person. And then you move to like product, and then you're stuck as a product. So you keep on getting stuck because you're good at it, right? The question is, how do you get unstuck? And it's a lot about reputation and network these days. So that's really what plays a role. And the way people are finding opportunities is different than it used to be. So people will reinvent themselves every year or two, and it's actually a skill that you need to learn.
Right. So we're talking about a new reality. It's not just that we're living in COVID times, but I believe the trend, especially in the tech sector, is that every 2 years people change positions for good and for bad, which means that a lot more people have the potential to reach that I'm stuck moment. Because if all of my friends are advancing every 2 years and it's my turn to advance, like, holy shit, I need to be advancing just like my friends. How do you get unstuck? Walk me through some of the big pointers for anybody that may be stuck that is present here with us.
Right. And I'll say a few things. So first of all, again, we will reinvent ourselves every year or two, and it's a skill, but nobody teaches you this skill. And what's more interesting is that the roles that you're looking at, especially in the tech sectors, nobody really taught you marketing or that kind of sales or that kind of management. Like, you don't learn that in school. It's really experiences, and then you get into that chicken and egg. But you don't have the experience. So how can you do that, right? So the interesting part here is how do you fast track to get those experiences so that you can claim it and you can have the confidence and you can build that reputation so that your network will open these opportunities your way, and that's how you leap. So the unstuck is basically to figure out, first of all, what you want to do, and which is crucial. And sometimes I look at it as experiments, just like startups experiment to figure out their market, like where they want to go next.
100%.
Their go-to-market strategy. That's the same thing. You experiment with your career. You figure out one thing, you try it out, you see if it works, you start building your reputation and network accordingly. If you don't like it, change it. The beautiful thing is, I say it to the Leapers, in 2007, we all became a media company. And whether you like it or not, if nobody hears from you, the assumption is that you have nothing to say, right? So, but we can leverage this. We can basically leverage it to tell a new story about ourselves and its power.
Wow. How much of that is emotional versus mental and intellectual and tangible on just saying, okay, here's the pros, here's the cons, and here is what Ilana tells me that I need to do, so I should just go do it. So how does that, what is the mindset of a person who's a leaper in your mind?
It's a great question, because I think it's exactly everything that you just said, right? It's not enough to just give information these days. I mean, you have information on YouTube, right? You don't need to, right? So it's not about information. It's really about the transformation. And it's about, how do you get to that transformation? How do you get that accountability? How do you get inspired by people? How do you learn about opportunities you didn't even know about, right? Because when you're in corporate and all you see is that senior director role that you want, you didn't even know that you could mentor in startup accelerators and join boards and be advisor. Like, you didn't even know that these things exist, right? So it's really about opening your mind to what's possible, but also giving you the courage and the inspiration to move on, and the accountability to keep pushing. Because when you're scared, you're going to tend to lean back to your comfort zone. So it's really about everything. It's a lot of mindset, really.
It's fascinating. It's all about, at the end, it's all about fulfillment, and it's all about the pyramid of Maslow, right? That you want to reach that hierarchy. And I guess one of the most difficult parts of it is acknowledging that you're stuck, right? I'm assuming that it's very easy to get into a routine and sort of be in denial, because first of all, it's comfortable to have a position, even if you're a little bit stuck in it. You're stuck often in comfort, especially in our industry. So there's a big part from when you are stuck to when you go to Ilana Golan and she helps you get unstuck.
I agree. And honestly, I do. The big thing that I tell people is that life is in phases, and in different phases, different things will be important for us. And sometimes it's really about finance and comfort and balance, and that's okay. As long as you're admitting that this is what's important for you right now, and this part is okay, then it's okay, right? So when I was, in a big corporate, and I knew that I'm going to have 2 children and I'm going to take 2 maternity leaves, and I wanted to run an Ironman and all sort of things, then, it was okay for me to be stuck, because I wasn't stuck. I was doing the things that I love to do, right? So, to some extent, you need to decide what's your must-haves. And once you define your must-haves, you need to say, okay, so now this is what's important for me. And maybe it's reputation, and maybe it's recognition, and maybe it's growth, and maybe it's more pay, whatever it is, right? Now go chase it.
So the question that I have to ask is, executive in tech, 2 kids and an Ironman, how does that work?
Well, first of all, I have to admit that Ironman was before the 2 kids. But yes, no, I am, I need to be busy. So
I see that. I can see that very clearly.
But that's life, I just want to make things happen. I decide on the goal and I go pursue it. But I like to take people with me, and that's the beautiful part. So now that I'm surrounded with phenomenal leapers that are I see them growing, I see them fulfilled, I'm seeing their eyes spark. It's just something that I don't think I've ever felt before. And
wow.
It's first of all, it's fulfillment. It's you feel like you're impactful, and beyond that, it's the financial freedom and the geography freedom that I wanted for myself, so that I can keep on traveling the world and still inspiring and making a lot of money. So it's great.
I love it. Circling back, because that is a question that I'm fascinated by. I'm assuming that most people in the world that are, I'm assuming that the people that are already talking to you that are stuck, they're the top percentile that have acknowledged it and are making that leap. But there's a whole level of people that are stuck, and they're just, maybe they don't know it, or they don't know what to do about it. How can you tell if a person is exhibiting the symptoms of stuckness, or the person who has the potential to make that leap, but just doesn't realize it yet?
It's a great question. I mean, first of all, I have to say that I accept roughly 1 out of 5 people that I talk to. So I am very picky. Yeah, I am very, very picky.
Oh, wow.
And the reason is, I want the people to have, enough of the goal needs to be realistic, but high, right? And they need to be committed, they need to be driven, they need to be coachable, resourceful, etc. Right? So there's very certain, type of people that I like working with. It's definitely more the high achievers, and that top percentile. People sometimes, again, they'll feel stuck for a while, but sometimes, like I said, it's comfortable, right? And we said that, right? But sometimes it literally wakes you up in the middle of the night, or wakes you up, you see that you're anxious, or you're not yourself, and you're not the best version of yourself. And at that point, it's, it took me many years to ask for help. Now I have my own coaching, and I pay crazy amounts for it, but it takes me higher, right? And, I think it took me years to understand that it's okay, even though I'm this like Air Force girl, right? That I probably shouldn't ask for help, and I should just figure it out, and, kind of prove that I can. But actually, when I ask for help, it's going to take me much faster and much better, right? So it took me many years to figure it out. And now I want to find the people that will, if I give them a hand, they will take it, and they will work hard, and they will be committed, and they'll get tremendous results.
It sounds like it takes a lot of courage to do both of these sides, to play on both roles, right?
Yeah, it's courage all along, right? Because every time you leap, you're going to be out of your comfort zone. So the question is, what kind of comfort zone and how big of a leap are you going to go for? And leap is scary. I mean, you're going to do, by definition, it's something you haven't done before. By definition, it's something bigger. And you need to decide that this is what you want for yourself and for your family and for your fulfillment. So yeah, it's not right for everyone, but it's great.
Right. One of the things that I'm still thinking from a few sentences ago is you said the term coachable. I never thought of, the coaching as that it's a two-sided market. It's not just, that somebody's willing to pay, and so therefore it's going to be a good fit, but you need somebody that's coachable, somebody that you will enjoy working with, because just as you're coaching them, I'm sure that a part of it is you're talking about how you're getting the fulfillment from them, and you're getting motivated by seeing them progress, and so you need people that will feed you that motivation as well, right?
Absolutely. If I'm not 200% confident that I can take them higher, I don't want to work with them. Not because I'm a jackass, just because, I want to see those results. What I really care about is the transformation. I mean, I've had enough, like, whether one person joins or not, that's not going to move the needle for me, but it will move the needle to see people that don't get the results. So,
wonderful.
I love this.
Just wonderful. Ilana, thank you so much for being so generous with your time. It was lovely to have you here. Before we leave, I need to ask you for 3 words that you would use to describe yourself.
I think I even said it, making things happen. So
making things happen.
Yeah, I'm the type that it doesn't matter if it's a trip or an adventure or entrepreneurship or whatever, I'm going to make something happen, and I'm going to take people along with me. So yeah.
Amazing. Madim. Ilana, thank you very much. Toda rabba.
You.
Best of luck, and thank you for helping a lot of people along the way. It's really great. Take care.